Welcome back to another Flush'em and Dus'em podcast. Tonight we have she considers herself a novice upland hunter, accidental bird dog owner. So we're excited to have her on. Her name's Andrea. Is it Dieker? Dieker.
Yep.
I think on your screen, I think it says an L instead of a D.
Oh, yeah.
So that threw me
change.
off. Oh, no worries. So we're excited to have her on. She's based out of Missouri. So we're just going to let her introduce herself and we'll take the conversation from there.
Hey, y'all. I'm Andrea, and I am from Wichita, Kansas, originally. And then moved out to the East Coast for a few years, and then found myself back in the Midwest about 7 years ago, and was really happy to kind of get back to the things that I enjoyed growing up in Kansas. We had a family farm near Fredonia, got to be outside a lot, deer hunted and turkey hunted. So with the move back, just kind of reignited some of those past passions and areas of interest, and found myself starting to get into it more, and I guess here talking to you guys about it.
Awesome. So it sounds like you've recently got into bird hunting, of all hunting. How did that come about?
So I never really bird hunted growing up. Went on little quail walks every now and then with my dad, but never really got into it. And so when I moved back from the East Coast, I was like so thrilled because we actually had a yard. Like, I lived in downtown DC, and I was like, I'm getting a dog. That was like the goal. I'm getting a dog. So I spent like months like looking for a dog. I was like going to shelters. I was thinking I was going to get that kind of dog. I looked at all different animals, and nothing ever just kind of like seemed like a good fit. And through this search, I ended up finding my dog Cookie. And I got her, it was the day after Valentine's Day in 2017. And I had grown up with Brittany's. So I kind of knew a little bit about what bird dogs needed. And I saw this just like gorgeous pointer on this website, and just like knew she was mine, like had to have this dog. And, did all the calling, informed my husband at the time later that we were getting a dog, had drafted this like beautiful application and like wrote this letter all about how like she's got to come to me. I know what she needs. Somebody's going to pick up this dog and, not know that it needs to run, that it needs, to just be out. And she's going to be back with you. And so if you send her to me, she's going to be really happy. And she was about 6 months old is what they said. So, our application was approved, and I went to go pick up this dog, and she was terrified, just like terrified of everything. She was like car sick. She just like spent the first day back with me, just like glued to my shoulder. She just like could not leave or separate from me. So I thought, like, what did I get myself into? This dog is really weird. This is going to be a challenge. How is this going to shake out?
It'd be scary not knowing what to do with the dog and acting like that. Most puppies are, loving and want to play, and to have a dog like that right away, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. So she's come a long way, but I never got her with the intent to hunt her. So I started taking her on walks, and I would notice and start running with her in downtown. So like we were like out in the crossroads in Kansas City, very downtown area, and she would just like be super interested in all of those pigeons, like the downtown pigeons. I'd be like running down the sidewalk, and there would be one just like there, and she would just like turn and just be a stone. And I had no idea what she was really doing. We are both novices to this, and I'm not sure she really knew what she was doing either. And she would just point birds. And it was the only time that dog was not afraid of anything is when we were running and when she was around birds. So that was kind of like well, maybe she's not a bad bird dog.
Yeah. So how did that transition from seeing her interact with those pigeons to making the decision to, you know what, let's try it out in the field?
Yeah. So I guess tangentially to some of this, I had been going to some women's shotgun clinics that are hosted by our local Pheasants Forever chapters.
Nice.
Again, not necessarily with the intent of hunting, but just like, getting comfortable around firearms again. It had been a long time since I picked up a gun. So, I talked to a couple of those folks about like what I was seeing, and they're like, well, I don't know, maybe she's interested in birds, but maybe she's gun shy. Like, why would you give away this dog? Because she's beautiful. She was always like very healthy, never had a problem with her. Looks exactly like what you'd want. And so they couldn't piece it together. Like, it's got to be it. She's got to be gun shy. So I was like, all right, well, maybe there goes that idea. And so my brother is really who's kind of created that bridge for me into upland hunting. I talked to him a lot about Cookie and his dogs, and one of his was a rescue too. And he was like, well, I had a lot to get over with it, but that dog hunted, like, it went through training. And so, I just kind of started letting her, point the birds when we would see them. Yep. And then I started taking her out to the gun range with me. I just like sit in the car with her and just like feed her treats, and eventually we'd like roll down the window and she didn't freak out. And then I'd get her out of the car and just like walk around and feed her treats. And she seemed fine. Walk her a little closer to the shooting and see if she freaked out. And she was fine. So then my brother invited me to go hunting with him. And she didn't like go out, but she was in the pickup and, with us on a long line. And she seemed just like vibrant, like, and bold. Like, she was not cowering and tail tucked like she typically had been. So just kind of took some baby steps like that. And eventually,
the first bird that she pointed on and you got.
So let's see. I had the first time I shot over her, I took her to because my dad came out and they live in Utah, and he was like, I bet she can do this. And so we took her to a preserve, and I hunted there with my dad that day, and she pointed some preserve pheasants. But after that, I actually, for quite a few seasons, I'd shot wild birds over my brother's dogs, over other people's dogs, but it didn't come together for me and Cookie until 2020, when she pointed some quail and we connected.
Nice.
So,
and how old is she now? Maybe you said that.
Well, I don't know. She's probably 5, but I don't have any papers for her or anything like that. That's best guess, like 4.5, 5.
Sometimes those are the best dogs that just find like that, and
has that natural ability.
I was going to tell you that maybe you want to take Tyler to shooting range to get him, so he's not afraid to feed him a few treats. Maybe he'd shoot a little better.
I actually shot good this past year.
I mean,
we'll see how this year goes, right? It could be different. You never know. But so you've so how many years have you hunted wild birds with her now?
So that would have been, we just finished her 3rd season. That first season we started going out. I just hunted probably 3 or 4 times. Yeah. The next season clicked it up a little bit, and then we really got after it this last year.
You said you had a family farm, correct? Is that what you said?
Yeah, near Fredonia.
Yeah. So how big is that? And do you guys plant food plots? Or are you kind of trying to get the bird population up there, or like what's the situation there?
What's the situation there? It's more whitetails and turkey. So it used to be, we had about 900 acres, but slowly we've kind of downsized that. And so there's about 350 still, and mostly ag, but not really great for upland birds.
Okay.
What state was that in? Kansas, you said?
Kansas. Yeah,
Kansas.
so southeast Kansas.
Okay. Is it just not good for birds just because of it being crop ground and just not cover, or?
It's never really had quail. It's definitely not the right spot for pheasants. So I think just that section has really just declined in bird population in Kansas. But I'm a city girl, so those are not my questions to answer for you.
Yeah. No worries. Totally understand. So you've gone 3 seasons now with Cookie.
Mhm.
What have you seen from the first season of Cookie on her first wild bird? How did that interaction go to this season where you guys have just really, sounds like you kind of come into your own, you two working together, really getting after it. How have you seen her change in the field to what has like helped you out as well? Maybe enjoy it more, or just more success in the field?
Yeah. So I had to learn a lot, in understanding what this dog is doing. And so I got really excited, of course, when I, shot that first bird over her, and I was like, this is awesome. We're gonna learn how to do this. Mostly also because just like that, she's just changed. She's such a different dog now. And, I think half the time it's a people problem, not a dog problem. And so I think that
that's with many things in the world.
right? Yeah. Cross apply to all sorts of things. So she's changed in the sense that she used to be so aloof and so distant, and she's like my shadow, we've gotten really close. And, I think I gave her some of what she needed, and, her some of what I needed too. But like learning so much more about this animal. I mean, like you are just trusting this thing that you can't talk to, that you have to just like acknowledge their body movements and try to understand what's going on around you, and just have them lead you in the right way. It's just a really weird, like psychological exploration there. And that's been really neat to see like how it's changed her from whatever nasty background she came from.
Yeah.
That is really cool to see that transition from timid and scared to vibrant. And
would you say that Cookie is like your dog? So I mean, I know it's your dog, but like Diesel, he's not my wife's dog. He won't listen to my wife. It's me. Like he listens to me, so he's just my dog. That's what my wife always says. He ain't mine. He's just yours. Is that how she is with you?
Oh yeah. I mean, she minds everyone pretty well. She's very polite. I'm all sold on the English dogs. They like their manners. They're so good. But she definitely she's really protective of me. Very protective. She's my girl.
Yep.
Yeah. She's like the dog. I think everybody's got like the dog. She's the dog.
Yeah.
Have you been on any hunting trips with her? Have you taken her out of state and gone South Dakota, or tell us about those?
Yeah. So let's see. We've hunted Missouri and Kansas, Nebraska and Arizona.
Nice.
So we had a really good time. And she it's so amazing, right? They know so much more than you do. And a lot of it was like trying to understand that. And I didn't I got a visitor.
Hello.
Say hi. This is my up and coming hunting buddy, Catherine.
How you doing?
Say hello. Hi. We were talking about Cookie. Yeah, we're all a fan.
Awesome.
So where was I? What were we talking about?
Your hunting trips.
So I don't know, like it took a while for things to kind of come together. And part of it was that I didn't know what she was doing. So a lot of it was me and my like need to control what's going on and like feeling like I didn't know that like, and if we hadn't shot birds, we were wild bird hunting and like nothing was happening. And then I realized that, she can smell them better than I can. So maybe I need to follow her as opposed to walking to where I think they should be. And I got a really great lesson about habitat and understanding the bird behavior too, which helped me then understand why Cookie was doing what she was doing.
Yep.
And so kind of getting that knowledge gave me a little more comfort and confidence in giving it a try.
Yeah. Their noses, they tell the story way better than what we think we know. I think every bird hunter has to learn that and has to remember that throughout even the season. There's sometimes I'm like, why is the dogs going over there? There's not going to be a bird. And then
well, and that's what was happening is like I was like, okay, here's this field. I see cover, I see food, I see water, like there should be birds here. And I was like walking through the middle of the cornfield. I had no idea why Cookie was like running over there. It made no sense to me. And so there's this app that I found called Try Upland.
Okay. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so you can sign up as a mentor or a mentee, and they kind of pair you regionally with folks.
Nice.
And so I got paired up with Heath from Hunt Ready and got
He
to
sponsors us.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I got to just like get to know him, and we would like exchange messages through the app, and like I'd send him a picture and be like, here's where I'm at, like I don't understand what's happening. And he's like, well, you need to go towards that draw. I'm like, what's a draw? Like I don't know what that word is.
Yeah.
And so it really helped understanding the habitat, but also like having him help me like know the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, you're
and,
probably used to go to the watering hole. That's the bar.
Right, yeah. Hey, what are you saying about me?
That's country, not city. Come on.
Do I have a reputation or something?
Oh, that's funny. So the Try Upland, do you like did you ever meet with Heath like in person, or is it just all online communication?
Yeah, it was all online communication, which I think is really great for people that might not be classical hunters or may not feel comfortable in that sense. And so we just like exchanged messages through the app. Like eventually we like traded phone numbers and texted, but Heath and I have actually never met in person. This was like 2 years ago. I still ping him and say, hey, look what happened. And like I connected on that first quail I told you about, and he called me and I swear he was more excited than I was. Like he was just like so jazzed about it.
That's awesome.
The question is, are you now rocking Hunt Ready?
Of course I am. I absolutely am. That's my bag.
Yeah. Nice. How do you have it configured?
So this has been so difficult in trying to like find the right gear and setup because I am, a whole lot smaller than the rest of y'all. And what I really liked about Hunt Ready, aside from it being a veteran-owned US-based company, is that he has daughters and they use his products. And so I kind of like peeked at how they had their setup. So I've got, but the belts are pretty small and I can configure it how I want. I've got to add some stuff for this next year, but I was just doing kind of the zip pockets because for smaller people, it doesn't restrict you when you walk. I'm 5'1.5" on a good day. So I am often going through, CRP that's like bigger than me. And so having something that was light and could be what I wanted it to be was really important.
Yeah. Well, that sounds good. What do you think you'll add to it this year?
Water. Oh my gosh. Did we just like run out of water?
Oh, you didn't have water?
Well, I mean, I threw it like in my bag, but now there's starting to get to be birds in there. So I need someplace to put the water bottles.
Yeah. Instead of a water bottle holder, it's what it's used for, right? Oh, that's funny. You should have you looked up that rat roll that they have?
I've seen it. Yeah.
So we got that for ours for this coming year, and that's super nice for we're putting, like tin snips in it, so if they're running any traps or a couple
Yeah,
first
actually,
aid.
on that, I had a buddy who almost lost his dog, and then that's when I called Tyler. I'm like, dude, we need to carry some tin snips or something with this because his dog got caught in a
Snare.
snare,
Oh, wow.
and he said he was starting to pass out, and they couldn't get it, and finally they were able to. They actually cut the dog to cut the wire. They
Oh my
got him.
gosh. That's
Great.
terrifying.
Yeah, he was like, carry one of these because I think
Yeah.
they had to use a knife. I think is what he told me because they didn't have a clip on him, so they were like trying to get underneath it, and yeah, wild.
Cookie had a really scary moment this last season where she had a seizure, and it was like that was actually probably her best day. She was just on fire. She had pointed probably 3 coveys of quail, 4 roosters. Like she was like standing her birds really well. It probably was her best hunt. And she goes up over the hill, and I look at the GPS and says she's on point. And so I yell to the folks I'm hunting with, like, "Oh, dog on point, 75 yards this way." Walks up there, and he yells back like, "Hey, she's not okay. You need to come up here." And to be honest, like I almost couldn't do it. Because I couldn't just like see what was going on. But I got up there, and she was just like convulsing, like on her back, and just completely rigid, and her pupils just dilating, and she just like lost all control of herself and then just went limp. And I thought she was dead. It was really terrifying. And then eventually she just kind of like looked back at me. Like I like had her in my lap, and her eye just rolls back and like looks at me, and then she just like rolls on her belly.
Is that the only time she's had a seizure?
Yeah. So I carry some like a glucose paste in my bag for her now, and try to give her a little bit of food in the morning, not a ton before we go, but enough to maybe stabilize some blood sugar. And
do you know how long that seizure kind of lasted?
Probably just a couple minutes.
Yeah. So my oldest dog, Murph, he has seizures sometimes. And it's like the first couple I didn't time, and it felt like they took forever. Like I felt like I was sitting there for like 15 minutes, just like, and he doesn't shake during he just kind of, his like legs and stuff don't work. And his muscles basically just fully tense up, but he doesn't shake. And then he just kind of has saliva dripping out profusely, actually. And then it's like you said, his eyes are dilated. And then once he snaps out of it, he like just wants to love on you like crazy. Like it's like he doesn't realize that he's having it, and then all of a sudden pops out of it and is like, "Oh, you're right here. Like, what the heck just happened?" It's super scary. That first time is like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
You have no idea. But yeah, I've thought about carrying some stuff like that in the field too, because I talked to the vet about it, and they don't think his is blood sugar because it just happens like sometimes it'll happen like once every 3 months, sometimes once every 6 months. It just it always makes me nervous doing water work, so like I never take my eye off of him when he's swimming, because
oh wow,
I had a friend that
that's a new level of consideration. I didn't think about that.
I had a buddy that his dog does.
Tyler's always training his Speedo.
You're damn right. Never have my phone in my pocket. It's always on the ground. But no, one of my buddies he has a black lab, and not you, Nick, different guy. But he trains. He doesn't train. He just does it for fun, dock diving with it.
Mm-hmm.
His mom has a pond, and they just go there and dock dive. Well, the dog jumped off the dock and grabbed the bumper and was swimming back, and all of a sudden he just like was paddling in circles and then went under the water and popped back up and was having a seizure in the middle of
Oh my
that
gosh.
swim back. Yeah. So I'm always just like a little concerned, like I get nervous I don't do like river hunts with him or anything. I just get nervous, if he's in a current and that happens, like, holy crap, at least in a pond, there's not a current and I'm a pretty decent swimmer. I took swim lessons and was a lifeguard. So, I mean, I feel like I could save him. Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's always something that I consider too, is you just never know. But would you say, getting into upland, getting into running your own bird dog, has been one of the biggest hurdles that you feel you've had to overcome, or that you feel that you've had the most success with?
Let's see. I think for me, I love the dogs, of course. Dogs are like the gateway, right? But I think one of the biggest hurdles was, probably trying to feel comfortable and safe doing this by myself. Especially for my first couple seasons. I was hunting by myself. Really, only this last season did I, kind of start hunting with other people. So it was usually just me by myself, and that felt really good. It felt really good to like have this like fear, a little bit of a healthy fear, right? But like figure out, how to just understand where I'm at in the environment and the habitat and what is out there, and how to protect myself and be safe, and keep the dogs safe too. So just the feeling of independence.
Hunting in bigger groups can be scary.
That terrifies me, actually.
You don't want to shoot anybody or get shot.
Yeah.
I know Tyler and I are gonna have to worry about that this fall, about getting shot. So
yeah, the guys that we're going with, they've actually done it.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, I always, and I think as a new dog handler too, it's kind of nerve-wracking hunting with other people that have dogs, because you don't want your dog to screw up, or like, you want your dog to perform. And I mean, no dog's perfect, but it also sucks when your dog's fuck something up, I mean, there was that one year Nick and I went to, I think it was the first year that I hunted Murph and Lola when we were in South Dakota, the first year they went out there, and there was a golden hour hunt, and God, there were so many birds, and they got into the corn. We probably walked in like 5 minutes too early.
We did.
But all the birds were walking from the corn into the grass and hadn't yet got out of corn. And my dog got in the corn, and I couldn't freaking get them back for anything. And there was birds literally just going everywhere.
Yeah.
And out of range. And I'm like, oh my God, you feel like just a total jackass, because it's,
if you hunt with people that understand it, it's a process. And Diesel used to do that too. Hell, sometimes. Well, this past year, I didn't have a shot collar on, and we got on a line of birds, and there was,
that field was loaded.
It was loaded. There's 50, 60 at the end of that. Just got out, and all the dogs were going nuts. But normally I can control them really well, and for whatever reason, he was not taking command. And I was like, "What in the hell, man?" I was just yelling and screaming. Then he came back, and what's going on? Oh, I did turn on your collar. Oh, okay.
You should have seen all these birds.
I couldn't just give him a little nick just to like tell him to slow down, because he thinks I'm keeping up with him. And I was like,
Yeah, there's so many birds, and you have 6 guys shooting, and dogs are going everywhere, and birds, and
it was like a perfectly square field, and we had guys on each corner. And then as we would turn, they would rotate, and they got more shooting than we did. On the edges, so it was fun to watch.
That was a good time. What have been a couple of your most memorable hunts with Cookie so far?
Let's see. Probably that, of course, that first time we connected on quail. And that was actually the first time I took my son hunting with me too.
Oh, nice.
And so he got to be there for that, and that was really special for both reasons.
Yeah.
You know, and we've been working really hard, and you know, it was to that point where it's like, should I even be doing this? And then like, you know, slowly it was kind of coming together, and you know, like Cookie started finding birds, but then I wasn't shooting them. So I'm a terrible shot, and so I went to go get shooting lessons because I was like, I am not going to not shoot these birds now. So I went and I got several shooting lessons, and then after that, like it kind of all pieced together after that one hunt, and then doing that with Matthew, and we were not having a good morning. It was pretty cold, and you know, hunting with kids is great, but you also are hunting with kids, so you know, it's mostly promises of you know, Casey's Pizza and donuts, and
oh, you can't not beat Casey's Pizza, right?
Making sure none of us are crying. So
I was actually in bumfuck Egypt today in Iowa, and I stopped and had some Casey's Pizza because I was hungry.
Oh, that's so good, so good. What so you said you went to Arizona this past year?
Yeah.
What quail did you all chase out there?
I got my slam, so I got all 3.
Nice.
Oh.
Yep.
That's awesome. How long were you out there for?
5 days. I guess 5 days, 4 days of hunting. And you know, my goal this last year was I didn't even know what they were called. I would say I want a quail with one of the things. And so that's what I wanted, was a gambles. And everyone's like, that's so easy. They are everywhere down there. That was the last bird I shot with like hours of being able to hunt left. And so that was quick. We like dropped into this canyon, and the dogs were going, and it was just the first one, big, beautiful male gambles. And then it was like, wait, we gotta go. And just rolled out. So I finished my slam like barely, but I got it.
Nice. What do you shoot? What are you shooting?
I shoot a Frankie Instinct 28.
Oh, nice.
Do you mainly quail hunt then?
Quail's my favorite, but this last year and actually chicken. Actually, prairie chickens are probably my favorite, but I love quail and pheasant.
Does a 28 gauge do good on prairie chickens and basically everything that you go after?
Yeah. Part of the reason why I kind of switched to it is, like I said, I'm very petite, and an 8-pound gun is actually a lot for me. And so they're pretty light, and it makes a world of difference being able to carry something that's like 5 pounds all day. And it was harder. I mean, it definitely was hard shooting, but I really like it. And it was really easy to find shells for. So.
And that's very nice. What type of shells are you using?
Well, I think last year was kind of whatever I could get my hands on, but mostly Fiocchi.
Okay.
I haven't branched out much, but I usually try to keep some steel shot in my bag, just to have around. And I've hunted a lot, like west of Kansas in the like McPherson, Pratt area, and a lot of that cover is actually traditionally waterfowl, but it does hold quite a few pheasants.
Oh, nice.
So hunting over there, definitely try to have some of that handy.
Yeah. Never know if he can jump shoot some birds or something of that nature. How many different species have you got with Cookie? I thought I saw something on one of your Facebook posts. Can't remember exactly what it said about the number of species or something that you got with them, or different types of birds.
So I've shot 6 species. Cookie has pointed 8. So she's pointed huns, sharp-tail, prairie chickens, pheasant, quail, and then we got our bobwhites, our merns, our gambles, and our scale.
Nice. That's awesome. Do you plan on any big trips this coming year?
Yeah, I really want to finish my quail slam. So I'd like to probably do Utah. My parents are out there, and
Oh yeah.
There's a whole bunch of like big fat valley quail running around by their neighborhood. So
Utah would be pretty sweet to go to.
Yeah, Utah would be awesome.
yeah,
We're heading to Wyoming in September for some sage grouse, so that'll be our first trip and be an interesting hunt.
yeah, I would really.
We hunt with some pros though, so
Yeah, they say they're pros. We'll see. We've never actually hunted with them. They'll probably complain about their ankle, and one will probably take the easy route walking. We have a chat group, obviously, because we're going to Wyoming, and it's basically just a group of talk shit all day. That's all they do. It's pretty funny, but the one twisted his ankle last year and still complains about it. Kills me. But anyways, back to the podcast. So have you, what's your goals with Cookie now as a full-on bird dog, and what are your goals as you progress in your upland career, being, I wouldn't say you're really a novice anymore. I think hunted them since 2017, you said, is when you kind of got
that's
into
when I got Cookie. I think I
Yeah.
probably started hunting really like 2019.
Yeah.
And so
You've had
I
awesome success, it sounds like.
Yeah.
After you learned the shooting and whatnot.
yeah, I don't quit very easy. So I really wanted to pull it all together. I mean, it was really Cookie. But I would say goals wise, I do feel like a bit of a novice. I'm not like some of the folks you've had on this show, right, where they've been breeding and training just like incredible dogs, or have been doing this their whole lives. What I like about it though is that for me, it's like the one time my brain shuts off. I've got kids, I've got life going on, I've got this super stressful job, and it's the one thing that forces me to like notice everything. You hear the way your boots sound on the gravel road, you have to pay attention to what the wind is doing and how things look, and what your dog's acting like. And I'd say I just want to keep doing that. I'm not trying to, I never set out to do something really big here, except just find this like thing that you just like, that just kind of like part of your ethos, and you just really, really come together at. And, I do volunteer a lot with Pheasants Forever and our local Pheasants Forever chapters. I think that this is a fantastic thing for women and children too, especially when you consider like all the kinds of hunting that are out there. Like all you need are a pair of boots and a gun. I mean, we've often kind of overcomplicated this thing.
Yep.
You think you have to get this dog, and you need to send them to training, and you need all these guns and this Garmin and the bag and the clothes and the stuff, but really you don't. And I mean, I got my $150 dog, and the only thing I did was teach her how to come when called. She's never had formal training, and it works for us. It works for what I'm after.
Absolutely.
I think, and you're right. Some dogs just have it. They don't need the, you gave her the bird exposure through the pigeons, and it put that, that's all she needed to have that light of, I like seeing birds and pointing birds, and it's obviously worked out great for you guys, and you've had awesome success. And it's the nice thing about the uplands is, like I said, it doesn't take a lot of gear. A lot of crazy gear. Like if you look at waterfowl, and it's like if you're going to do water hunts, you have all this stuff. If you're going to do field hunts, you have all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the uplands are so nice. You can show up.
I mean, you can buy a Mossberg shotgun for $300 and head in the field,
Yep.
And I love, like you said, just getting away, and you don't have anything else to think about. You're just out there in nature, just away from your job, away from life for a few hours, and just letting the dogs do what they want and enjoying it. I think That's the nice part about the uplands is it doesn't feel stressful, and it shouldn't. You know, sometimes with when I do some waterfowl hunts, sometimes it can feel stressful because you're calling, you got to switch all the decoys, you got to get all this set up, you know, and then if the wind shifts, you got to move everything, and it's like, I don't know, the uplands are just, that's what I love about them.
Do you have any plans for a future dog?
I got a second one. I have two.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. I have an English setter. So Dottie, she just turned a year. So I took her on some puppy walks last year. I was really hoping for like a mid-range dog, but I ended up with two like really long-range dogs. These dogs like to just roll, which is fun. My brother and I, as much as we enjoy hunting together, he likes to keep them pretty close. I like to let mine go because I think that's the fun part of having a pointing dog. And so we have a couple different schools of thought on that one, but it's been a lot of fun, and it's really helped Cookie too, having a pair. And Dottie's been great. She's there was one chicken hunt and didn't see anything, like finished walking this field, like nothing was there, but like there had to have been chickens there. And then all of a sudden Dottie just like gets really stiff. And I had no idea what her points looked like at that juncture, really. And then I was like, no, it can't be. And we just keep walking by, and sure enough, chicken comes up.
First one.
Yeah.
Did you shoot?
No, I was just like watching what was going on. I was shocked.
Yeah.
And she had like some pretty bad cases of like puppy ADHD or ADD this last year. There was like a pheasant where all of a sudden she stopped, and I was like, oh, she's on point. And then she just like broke and like ran off. And I was like, oh, maybe not, like old scent or something. And no, I walk right up to it and like almost on it. It came up like right in front of me.
Oh, that's awesome. How far are your dogs ranged now?
So she's pretty comfortable at 500 to 600 yards. Dottie's a 400-yard dog easily. She went to Steel Fork kennels for some training after Arizona, and she did great in Arizona. And he was like, yeah, make sure you have the long antenna on and keep your battery charged.
That's awesome. That's crazy. So will Cookie, like if she's out 400 yards locked up on point, she'll hold that point till you get there?
Sometimes, like I said, she's had no formal training.
Yeah.
But,
that's crazy though, that she's like, well,
she's figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's just was a lot of it. It was just hunting them. So she can figure out how much pressure she puts on birds. Like,
yeah.
Yep.
And there's a big difference between when she's scent pointing and sight pointing. And, so when we're hunting pheasant and quail and everything's a little closer, it looks a lot different. When we're hunting prairie chickens, it looks a lot different.
Yeah. Are they ranging a lot further on prairie chickens than quail and pheasant?
Yeah.
That's one thing that's nice about, I mean, there's some bigger tracts of land in Iowa, but there's not a lot of tracts of land where you could comfortably run a dog 600 to 700 yards out.
No.
I mean, at least not where that I'm relatively aware of, or if we traveled, to the very west side of the state, there would be something, but I mean, that's pretty far for here in Iowa. So I think that's pretty cool that, you guys have that opportunity down in Missouri and the Kansas area or Arizona, and whatnot. That's kind of what it'll be interesting come Wyoming, seeing just pulling up to thousands of acres of public land. Like, all right, where do we go?
Yeah.
Our buddies have some pretty long ranging dogs. So Tyler, obviously, he runs 2 Goldens and I have a Black Lab. So we'll cover the short game.
Yeah. We'll retrieve the birds.
There you go. See, mine won't do that.
Yeah.
Cookie will if she sees it. But she's ready to go find the next one for you.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've had, did you say what your bucket list bird was?
No, I don't think I did. My bucket list bird. There's an elegant quail that's native to Mexico. That's just like so interesting. So if I could like go have a bucket list bird, that would probably be it.
Down in Mexico.
But I do want to finish my quail slam. That's kind of the other goal.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
it would be cool.
Awesome. Well, we like to keep these like right around an hour, so we're sitting good. But we appreciate you coming on.
Yes, thank you so
we
much.
Had a lot of fun. It was awesome learning about Cookie, learning about how you got back into the uplands, and obviously using Heath as a little bit of a mentor. The Hunt Ready guys are great guys, and so it's awesome that you're supporting their best too. We run that. So but yeah, no, it's awesome. Hopefully you can complete that quail slam, relatively this year, next year. So we're looking forward to maybe seeing some pictures of you hunting out in Utah and running Cookie and Dottie. So,
yeah.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it.
Thanks, Andrea.
Always keep busting dusting.
Have a good one.